Hey, Instant Potheads! Welcome to another episode of Cuong Can Cook. Today we got a special treat. We're going to be making steaks. Now, not just any steaks, we're going to be cooking steaks in the sous vide style. If you've already watched my other video, the introduction to sous vide cooking, you understand that sous vide means under vacuum in French. You're able to bring the steaks to the exact temperature you want it to finish at. I like medium, so I'm going to set it to 135 degrees. It will not be over 135 degrees. It cannot get overcooked. I've got one bone-in New York steak. That's what wifey likes. On this side, I've got a bone-in ribeye. Now, this one's my favorite, so this one's going to be my steak tonight. I just want to mention that on the introduction video, I wasn't able to fit the sous vide circulator onto the Instant Pot inner liner. But now that I was told that there is a way that you can get it to work, and what you do is you take the clamp off first, and you attach the clamp to the pot, and then we'll put the circulator in, and it should work this way. So we'll make it work. For the first time that I sous vide anything, I'm going to use the Instant Pot liner. Why? Because this is the Instant Pot Sous Vide Immersion Circulator. And I want, they're kind of like brothers here. You don't want to separate family. So for the first one at least, we're going to use the inner liner. Going forward, maybe we might use a different container if it fits our food better. You never know. Let's get started. As we get started, very important to stay lubed while cooking. Cooking lube helps you cook better. This is what I believe, and I know you know it's true. So, another grapefruit shandy for me. I hope you're enjoying your favorite beverage as well. Stay lubed, my friends, while cooking. It's gonna make a difference. Now, it doesn't have to be alcoholic. It can be your favorite drink. Hot chocolate, water, apple juice. Whatever you like, so long as it makes you comfortable cooking and makes you cook better. Because if Cuong can cook, then so can you. Delicious. I like Montreal steak seasoning. This is the one we buy. Let's give a nice coating. Season our steaks. All right. Both sides. Get nice and a good amount in there. Right? Now we got to place them in our bags. Instead of using a vacuum sealing machine, we're going to use what's called the Archimedes method. Yeah, if you remember, Archimedes was that guy from a long time ago who discovered that in order to properly get the volume of something, you could dip it in water, and when the water level rises, the displacement of the water tells you the volume of the object you just stuck in there. He was so happy at that discovery that he jumped out of his bathtub, ran around the city shouting out, "Eureka, Eureka, I have found it," even though he didn't have any clothes on. I'm gonna put it in the zip top bag. I'm gonna throw in a couple cubes of butter, because why not? And then I'm going to dip it right here into the water. And what happens is as it goes down into the water creates a seal. I'm going to let the water go all the way up, close to the opening, but not quite. And get all what we really want to do is get all of the air out of there. Okay? Once all of the air is out, seal your bag, bring it up, and you're ready for some sous vide action. Right into our Instant Pot. Okay? I've never used this before. Right now it says 133-0800. I'm assuming that this will set it, if you let it go right now, it's going to go to 133 degrees and keep it there for 8 hours. We actually want the temperature, let's see. If I hit M, the temperature starts flashing. I want it at 135 degrees, which is the appropriate temperature for medium steaks. And hit M again. I think setting it for 8 hours should work out just fine. Now we hit play. and it starts. It says it's 85 degrees in the water right now. We'll let it get up to 135. The pump has started working. It's very silent though. You wouldn't notice that it was on. Water is circulating around the bowl. I'm sure that the heating elements just turned on. It's now at 86 degrees. And once it gets to proper temperature, we'll lower in our steaks and we'll get to cooking. For about 7 minutes now, and as you can see, it's gotten to 135 degrees. It beeped 3 times, and the 8-hour timer started counting down. Now it's got 7 hours and 59 minutes left. So we brought the water temperature to 135 degrees, right where we want it. If you notice, underneath the Instant Pot liner, I put a towel and then a cutting board, just to try to protect the surface. Now 135 degrees isn't really going to harm our countertop, but it's always a good idea just to go ahead and protect it. Here in our case, I'm using a cutting board and a towel folded up to do that. It also keeps it nice and stable here. Now that it's at 135 degrees, this is probably the easiest way to cook something. My simplest recipe so far. We just take our sealed steaks, place them in the water, make sure that they're well submerged, and that's it. Based on the thickness of these steaks, we're going to come back in about an hour, hour and a half, up to 4 hours from now, and you should be able to pull these out. We're going to give them a quick sear, and they'll be ready to eat. So easy to cook using sous vide. Now, mention that I said these are good for up to 4 hours. On our message board, the Instant Pot community page, the wonderful Jackie Amy let me know that if you do feel like cooking them for longer than 4 hours, the steaks, the texture starts getting a little weird. Somewhere between 4 hours and 24 hours, it's not as good. The fibers start breaking down, even because it's held at that temperature for so long. So you really don't want to go past 4 hours. And to thank Jackie Amy, who has one of the most wonderful websites on pressure cooking. I use it as inspiration for a lot of the Instant Pot cooking that I do. You can see his website right down here. I'm going to post a link, and you should definitely go visit and see what it's all about over there as you're using your Instant Pot electric pressure cooker. But now, we'll get back to the Sous Vide Immersion Circulator. Our steaks are in there, everything is groovy, and we'll check back in with you in an hour and a half. Stay lubed. Steak smells good, looks good. Take it over here to the paper towel. Dry it off. It looks a little bit more brown than I thought it would be. I'm assuming that inside it's going to be more medium inside. It's probably brown on the outside. It's oxidizing on the outside a little bit more than it does inside. Okay, let's get our sear on. Alright, now we're at the stove top. We're going to get our sear onto the steaks. The way we're going to do that is first we're going to go ahead and turn the exhaust fan on. We're going to be cooking it pretty good. Hope you can still hear me. We're going to get our pan nice and hot. Really, really hot, okay? You're going to want to use an oil with a high smoke point. I happen to have some canola oil. Don't be using your extra virgin olive oil for this. Maybe some peanut oil, grape seed oil is good for this. Avocado oil, I believe, is also good. But I got some neutral tasting canola oil. Let the pan get really hot. Once it's really hot, add a good amount of oil in here. And once it starts smoking, you're going to know that you're ready to get your sear on. You see that nice brown crust on it? That's what we're looking for here. fabulous. Take a look at this right here. Now we're gonna go ahead and sit down to dinner right now. But before we do, I'll go ahead and take a taste test just so you can see what it looks inside. Okay, let's cut right into the middle of the steak, and hopefully you can see what all the fuss about sous vide cooking is. Okay, let me open this up. And sure enough, I don't know if you can get in there, Ethan. See how this is a perfect medium from edge to edge. All it's missing is just the outside crust is brown, and it's not even that thick, but it's the same temperature throughout the entire steak. Let me cut off a piece. Okay. So I don't know if you can see that, but like I said, beautiful medium all the way through, edge to edge cooking in the sous vide. And give it a shot. Well, it's juicy. More juice than I've ever had in a steak before. And it wasn't boiled or anything. It was like cooked. It tastes beefy. The spices, the butter, it all comes through. Wow, it's an excellent steak. One thing is though, it seems like cooking it in the sous vide over the time kind of blanded out the spices. So you probably want to hit it with a little bit more seasoning right at the very end. So I'm going to go ahead and do that when I go eat. And so I'm going to go eat now. Thanks for joining me on this episode of Cuong Can Cook, where we made a sous vide steak. As always, if Cuong can cook, so can you. You can do this. All it takes is the Instant Pot, Sous Vide, Immersion Circulator. So easy to do. Probably one of the easiest recipes that I've ever had on this show. So make it for yourself and keep eating it. We'll see you soon.